Alright, so here we're in the back seat of my w123, and here's how to remove the back seat. So if you look underneath where someone's leg goes, you see those orange little tabs. What you need to do is grab your little sledgehammer and go, and that'll unlock it as you pull up with one hand. So yeah, bear with me. Let's sit this phone down and see if it'll record it as I do it. So get that and go. There, nice and up. And then now we just do it to the other side. And that's the bottom section. You can take this out. So I suggest having the window open for the rear when you're taking it out. It makes it a little easier. So we just pull up. And out we go. Alright, so you've got the bottom section out, you've got random bits of debris from, decades of wind blowing dust in and people just having dirt on them when they sit down, etc. I don't know, it just accumulates dirt over time through all the edges and whatnot. Anyway, so the next part is, unfortunately I forgot to record, but you'll see you've got down here, you've got a little, let's turn that on. You've got a little tab there. So yeah, there's an 8mm little bolt to undo, one on each edge, and then one in the middle there. So yeah, once you've done that, what you do is you lift up on the seat, because there's a couple little locking pins that need to be lifted up, and that's pretty much it. So I suggest putting the headrests down and then just lifting. So I need 2 hands for this one, and then take the rest of the back seat out. So bear with me one moment. Alright, so here we have the back seat. It is loose out now because I've done the lift. See, there's these 3 big tabs that you need to lift the seat up off. It's got underneath there, it's a little slot that it sits in. So 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, that's how you take the back seat out in a w123 car from Mercedes. So yeah, hope that was helpful. Whether you are fixing the rear window that won't go down or goes down halfway or whatnot on the 2-door coupe, or whether you are adjusting your suspension and you need to get to the top of the towels, which is through here. So whatever you're doing, yeah, this is how you do it. Alright, so now that we've got the seat itself out, if you are going to work on the suspension, whether it change springs or the rubber spacers on the top of the spring, or doing the what do you call it, the shock absorbers, or working on your self-leveling suspension system, you'll need to, you can get access to the towels just by pulling like this, but you're just tearing one of these. So best to just lift and get that off. Lift and get that off. Lift and get that off. So yeah, and this is the vacuum lines. So one of these colors is for the pressure, one return. So one of these is for the boot lock or the trunk, as Americans would call it. One of them's for the fuel locking cap, and this one here is for the reservoir in the back of the car, which is above the fuel tank. So that's where your vacuum pressure is held, with this one here with the grey stripe. So that's the first thing you test when you got problems with the vacuum system, is this one here. But you test it from all the way in the engine bay. Anyways, that's a little side note there. Yeah, if you want to get to the shock towers, it is just through these now. Yep, looks like I might need a tool to get those out, but yeah, you get through it from here and through there. You need a nice little flat bladed screwdriver, I gather. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah. Oh, and they are connected on the sides here too. I just, pulled that out. It's got a little clip there. Then yep, one on there. So yeah, so fold this up nicely. You gotta get the seat belts through. So you can take this out of the car and give it a nice shake, give it a good clean vacuum, all that stuff, and do the same for the inside of the car before you reassemble. So yeah, and there's more electrical lines and vacuum lines and stuff. So yeah, you got your rear window control here, lines for the fuel tank level sender thing, and what else? Oh yeah, and the big one here will be for all your tail lights and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to take this out. I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Bye. Alright, so you need to get to the suspension, and now that the seat's out, you need to get to the top of it, which is behind here. So you need a little screwdriver or something to get behind there, which I have here. There we go, see? And then the other side as well. So it's not the best, but there we go. So they look the same size, both to be 17mm. And what do you know? We have a 17. So yeah, I'll get to this, and yeah, she shall undo them. Cheers. Alright, so first step with these is you hold the bottom one while you undo the top one. It's usually pretty well on there, so you might need some leverage or something. And you just put the top one that was on there off to the side, and then we take the second one off. You might need to hold this to keep it still. Alright, so now we got this one out, and we'll sit it up top with the other one. And you take little top plate off and the rubber out as well. It's a little stuck, it might need a little bit of persuasion. There we go, this one out, and you're left with that. Alright, on to the next part. Alright, so after you've done in the car behind the back seat, the next part is to undo the two bolts that just down there. So you gotta undo them from under here. So yeah, and then that'll let this old strut slide out under the bottom. Alright, so we need to raise the car up higher. Reason being is when we've undone the two bolts that go through here and hold the shock into place under there. Yeah, under there. Yeah, it needs to come all the way out, so that silver rod comes out too. So going to jack the car up even further, put it on stands, then put some extra blocks of wood onto there to raise it up to get it done. Alright, so now that I've got those two bolts out, this wants to come out, so pass it down on an angle and she shall come out. So yay, sweet. Now the next stage is to unbolt this guy here, the swing arm, so that way it gives you a little extra room when it comes to replacing the spring and getting the tool in as well. So bear with me, let's do that. So yeah, what we do is we put one clamp on each, compress it with the proper tool from Mercedes. Don't get any of those cheap made in China junk pieces, because this is an extremely dangerous part of the job. So yeah. Alright, so here we have the spring. We've got the tool on it to compress. You've got pass-through holes there, and then little notches in there where it's supposed to stay in there to pull it closed. And pretty much the same on that side. So yeah, you want 4 or more springs to spread the compression load, and that's pretty much it. And you tighten it up and then get it into place. Alright, so now that we've got the spring compressed, we've got to look where we're putting it in. Get rid of any dirt, debris that might be hindering placement. Little brush, whatever. Now, you'll see there's a little indentation here. Just up there. I'm not sure if it comes up on camera all too well. There we go, so there's an indent there. So that's where this part of the spring sits. So you put the bottom end in first and it sits upright in this position. And got the top little rubber part taped up so it stays on as you're maneuvering it around. And yeah, it is go time. Alright, so yeah, getting this up in there was a bit of a two-handed job, so bear with me, but this goes up into here, it slides underneath. And what I wanted to show you was down in there. The end of that spring going into the little notch area. So then when you got that placement, it is time to go underneath and get the tool to loosen the spring back up, and hopefully she goes into place. Alright, so when you've got the bottom in place and you're slightly undoing it, you got to make sure the top goes into that pocket. You may need to use your trusty little hammer, just tap it in. Right, you'll see what I mean with the top plate. It's got the pass-through section and then these little notches that it holds in, so that way you can compress the spring with those 3 little notches there. And it's got similar on the bottom, and as you can see, the rubber's in the pocket. The tape will come apart pretty much on the first or second drive of the car, so that's alright. And the spring's in place, we just got to get the tool out and reassemble. Alright, so after getting the other side done, you put these guys back together with the bolt on the end on each side. Then you get the shock absorbers to put on, and they go up the hole. Yeah, we're taking off all the excess dirt and oil and stuff. Sadly, I can't get the new shocks today, so I'm just going to put these in until shops open again, as it's a public holiday and stuff. So yeah, anyways, bear with me, it's a bit of a two-handed job, as you got to make sure it goes into the slot at the very top. So yeah. Alright, so to get when you put this in, to put it all the way up, you need to actually lift up the, what do you call it, the wishbone assembly on the bottom of the car to push the whole assembly up so it pokes enough through with the entire thread, so you can get the rubber, washer, and then the 2 nuts on. Now you will have to hold this with a tool while you get the first nut on as well. So we got this one here, so now we're going to go put this on the correct way like that. it's tapered, so you should only be putting that on the wrong way, or one way. That goes that way. First nut. So that one needs to be tightened all the way. So it goes that way. We're fortunate that it's not spinning, as in the centerpiece is not spinning. That's just a fortunate thing. Sometimes it does, and you need to hold the center part. That's why it's square like that, so you can get a tool on to hold it. So yeah, need to do this for a couple minutes so it goes all the way down.